As a distinguished member of the gamer delegation, it is my job to keep up with the latest news and information going on in the gaming industry. As a kid growing up with no internet, the way I fulfilled my gamer delegation's duties was by buying gaming magazines. Even as an adult with unrestricted access to the internet, I still enjoy getting one from time to time. One I bought recently, 2 years ago, clickbaited me with its cover. The 100 greatest PlayStation games of all time. How can I, the leader of the WWGDL, not know what the greatest game from one of gaming's premier companies is? So instead of just looking through the magazine in the store quickly to find out, I bought it like the sucker I am. Pause. And to say I was shocked at what was number one would be an understatement. It wasn't an easy pick like The Last of Us or GTA 5 or The Witcher 3. You know, games considered some of the greatest games of all time. It wasn't a game that ushered in a brand new genre like Doom or Final Fantasy 7 or Dark Souls or Overwatch. Thank God it wasn't Overwatch. It wasn't even a classic of video game culture like BioShock or Red Dead 2 or Arkham City or Portal 2. No, the greatest game ever released on a PlayStation is, drumroll please, drum roll, please. Thank you. Bloodborne, From Software's often forgotten masterpiece. This is like saying The Shawshank Redemption is the greatest movie of all time. Sure, it's not the most popular pick like The Godfather or Citizen Kane or Pulp Fiction or The Dark Knight, but anyone who has seen Shawshank will understand why you picked it. I get the same vibe from Bloodborne. Everyone who has played it has raved about how incredible it is. I mean, you don't get these types of scores by being a terribly mid experience, do you? Now, saying all this, even as the leader of the WWGDL, there are some games that I just haven't gotten around to playing. And unfortunately, Bloodborne is one of them. I know, boo me all you want. I just had better things to do, like binging the TV show Community in a week and then crying when it was over because it had become such an integral part of my life. And what am I supposed to do now? Like, am I never going to see these characters again? Will I never experience new stories with them? Will I never get to see them grow? And kissing heaps of girls. But this, quite frankly embarrassing, admission of gaming greatness by me ends today. I am going to play Bloodborne. I'm typing this script out before I even load up the game for the first time, and I will check back in once the credits roll. Wish me luck.
3 weeks later.
Well, that was certainly something. Okay, before I get into my thoughts about Bloodborne, can I admit something to you guys quickly? Earlier in the video, I lied. I know, I'm sorry. The lie was that I'd never played Bloodborne before. The truth is, I played it for a while back in 2015 when I was, funny enough, 15, and I just didn't really get into it. This is evident by the fact that I played it for about 20 hours, and all I did was defeat the first boss. First try, might I add, and literally nothing else. So even though I had played it before, it was basically like playing it for the first time this time round. Whew, okay. Now that my conscience is finally guilt-free, I can get stuck into the meat of this video. Pause again. Is Bloodborne the greatest game of all time? I don't know, maybe? No, but seriously, after completing the game, I think it has a great case at the title. Let's start off with what Bloodborne does best out of any game I've ever played. 2 words. Atmos and fear. From the game's opening moments, you are transported to a world like nothing you have ever seen before. A world filled with monsters, weird little creatures, and of course, blood. Set in probably the scariest place you could set a game, England. I don't think a video game world has enraptured me like Bloodborne's has since Red Dead 2. And unlike Red Dead 2, Bloodborne doesn't have amazing characters or engrossing cutscenes to get you invested. All it has is its vibes and atmosphere to hook you in. And let me tell you, it hooked me like fucking Leatherface from Texas Chainsaw. Yharnam is just oozing with gothic personality. From the high-rise buildings that are high-rise because they are literally stacked on top of one another. The massive churches off in the distance. The mangled and uneven streets. To the cast of unique characters you meet along the way that say profound shit like this.
This town is cursed.
And this. Every single asset in this game has been meticulously placed to make Yharnam feel like a real city. Playing this game felt like I was exploring a real place, walking streets that have been walked 1,000 times before, passing houses that have stood and been lived in for years. Every corner of this city is packed with small details that increase its immersion. From the bodies filled with frenzy arrows strewn across the Nightmare of Menzies section, revealing what's in store for you, to the blue flowers leading down a path that ends with, of course, a blue alien, to the lamps in the Forbidden Woods being lit not by candles or wax or anything like that, but by burning animal corpses. These details may be small, but they all add up to create a world that is real. I know I've said it like 20 times already, but seriously guys, you can't look at all this and not say it is incredible game design. The level design of Yharnam is incredible as well. I lost count how many times after opening up a shortcut and everything just clicked, I went, okay, yep, this game is amazing. I think what really got me was when I discovered Old Yharnam. Going down the small church's hidden steps, I was expecting a small, dark, cramped area like a sewer or a maze, or where I have to sleep after lightly making fun of my girlfriend, filled with gross creatures that have been slowly evolving in the darkness into something hideous. Instead, what you get is an entire abandoned city, filled with fire and smoke. Home now only to beasts. And the most annoying enemy in the game, seriously, fuck this dude. When the words Old Yharnam popped up, I went, okay. And then when I got past the church and realized where I was, I went, okay. And when I defeated the blood-starved beast and got the, however the fuck you pronounce it, chalice, and realized I could finally do something at the gravestones I was so curious about, I went, yep, okay, this game is designed so well it is not funny. Yharnam is probably the greatest setting in all of video games, and based on its atmosphere and vibes alone, Bloodborne is already in the top echelon of gaming. But thankfully, the gameplay of Bloodborne is just as good as its setting. Now, since giving up on Bloodborne in 2015, a lot of things have happened in my life. I finally managed to kiss a girl. Me and your mother have had some incredible times. But arguably more important than that for this Bloodborne playthrough was that I beat Elden Ring. I believe that set me up really well for this playthrough, as it allowed me to get familiar with the From Software way of doing things. And in regards to combat, that meant hide behind a shield, wait for an enemy to finish their combo, and then counter with an aptly named guard counter. That's how I played the entire game. Now if you use a shield in Bloodborne, just why? Okay, hi, yep, thank you for coming to my TED Talk. Today, I'll be discussing the many reasons as to why using a shield in Bloodborne is cool. Okay, thanks for coming to my TED Talk. See ya. Shields are out. Guns are in for Bloodborne, and this makes a huge difference to combat. Not only does that mean I have to face enemies like a man, but the parry mechanic the gun has makes you want to get up close and personal with your prey. This, coupled with the dodge step allowing for quicker movement and the rally mechanic where you gain health if you hit an enemy after taking damage, leads to much faster paced combat than anything in Elden Ring. Seriously, after playing Bloodborne, I don't think I could go back to playing Elden Ring the same way again. My third combat eye has been opened. Not only is the combat gameplay just so much more fun, but it fits with the theme of the game. You are taking the fight to the beasts of Yharnam, just like a skilled hunter should. You are confident enough in your combat abilities to be like, yeah, I don't need anything to protect myself. I know I can kill you easily. It's like rocking up to a duel in medieval times, dripped out in all the cool, awesome knight gear with a massive shield and a long sword, and your opponent rocks up naked with a dagger. Like, I don't know about you guys, I would be shitting myself. This is how the beasts and citizens of Yharnam feel, I reckon. 1 minute you're minding your own business, about to gather around a burning animal corpse with all your buddies, all your boys, about to have an amazing time. And then all of a sudden this random dude rocks up with a saw and a gun and kills you in 4 hits. Like, what? Like I said before, this fast-paced combat fits perfectly with the game's themes. You are a hunter. You hunt beasts. Go hunt them! A shield just would not give you that feeling of combat mastery you get after a while. It would just feel like you're trying to survive in this world, not actively hunt anything. The combat in Bloodborne is just so much fun. It is fast-paced action that rewards constant aggressive gameplay, and it fits with the themes of the game, which just makes it even better. Of course, you're not only just hunting beasts and citizens of Yharnam, you know, basic ass enemies, no offense. As with any From Software game, you are also fighting bosses. And the bosses in Bloodborne are perfect. Kind of. Let's start off with the positives for the bosses. The majority of them look incredible in this gross kind of way, and that's perfect. They look and feel like massive creatures that something has gone horribly wrong to, which fits perfectly with the theme and story of the game. I'm sensing a pattern emerge about what I'm saying, guys. Very weird. Starting the game with the first boss being the Cleric Beast is a genius choice. It shows the player how gross these creatures can get, and gets them used to fighting these massive monstrosities. The aforementioned Cleric Beast, Dark Beast Paarl, the One Reborn, Bloodstarved Beast, Vicar Amelia. All these bosses are amazing in their design and spectacle. Honestly, I don't think I've had a grosser reaction to a boss than when the One Reborn was birthed essentially, like... Ugh. Of course, you're not only fighting gross beasts, no. You're also fighting yourself. The hunter types of bosses are introduced with Father Gascoigne, again perfect in its execution. Seriously, I don't think there are greater tutorial bosses in gaming history than the Cleric Beast and Father Gascoigne. Father Gascoigne is amazing because not only is he basically a reflection of yourself if you get too lost in the blood source, but going into the fight you are instinctively wondering if you can parry him like normal enemies. Sure enough, you can. And once you figure this out, dude, the fight becomes so good. It's just two hunter bros hunting it out, hitting each other, parrying, getting bloody like real men. He sets the stage not only for the other main hunter bosses like Mater Ligarius, Lady Maria, and of course, spoilers, Gurnam, but the other hunter enemies you encounter while exploring the world. I swear, these are the hardest enemies in the game. Like, Jura in Old Yharnam is harder than basically all of the bosses, and the Bloody Crow is aptly named because after dying to him like 100 times, I was like, Bloody Crow of Cainhurst. And this leads me to my main gripe about the bosses in Bloodborne. They weren't particularly hard at all. I don't know if I was just over leveled or if I'm just a god at the game, but I only really struggled with a couple of them. Like, I defeated the One Reborn and Rom in 2 goes, Father Gascoigne I first tried, same with the Bloodstarved Beast. The only ones I really struggled with was the G-Man and Mikolash, because he was a little bitch always running away. He was... oh, so annoying. Oh, and the Witch of Hemwick, do not get me started on how just terrible that boss is. So there was a couple of disappointing and just outright terrible bosses in Bloodborne, looking at you Witch, but I guess you can't expect all the bosses in a From Software game to be absolute bangers, so that's okay. I think in terms of ranking them against Elden Ring bosses, I would put Elden Rings just above Bloodborne's for the sheer variety of memorable bosses you fight, but in terms of their story and thematic impact, Bloodborne's just wipes the floor with Elden Ring essentially. And that's the thing about Bloodborne. Like I've said heaps of times already, everything that is in this game is there to help push along the game's story and themes. I have never played a game with such a singular focus on its overarching vision before. Literally nothing in Bloodborne is wasted. Every single second playing this game is spent in one of the most original, fully fleshed out, and strangely beautiful worlds ever created. I mean, I haven't even touched on the story or Chalice dungeons, 2 major parts of the game if I'm being honest, I didn't get at all in this playthrough. But I don't feel like I missed out on anything. That's how good Bloodborne is. Even if you miss out on like 30% of the game, you will still have an incredible time. Honestly, the best way I can put this is that since finishing Bloodborne, I haven't thought about playing anything else. I just want to keep playing it, keep immersing myself in this incredible world, discovering every single little secret that it has to offer. Whether that be new weapons I didn't discover, new NPCs I didn't talk to, new bosses I didn't defeat. I just want to do every single thing I can in this game. I don't think a game has made me feel this way since, well, ever actually. So, to answer the golden question, is Bloodborne the greatest game of all time? I don't know, maybe? Top 5 for sure.